Welcome to the Bucher and Friends podcast. Here is your host.
Let's send it over to Rick Bucher.
Rick Bucher.
All right, welcome to another episode of Bucher and Friends, part of the United WeCast Network. I'm Rick Bucher. You can find my stuff on Bleacher Report. You can follow me on Twitter at Rick Bucher. And it's now my great pleasure to welcome in Andre Drummond.
What's going on? What's going on?
How are you, man?
I'm doing well. Yourself?
I'm good. So, first of all, there's a thing that we do on the show as a way of introduction. We ask guys about their middle name. Andre Jamal Drummond.
Yes, indeed.
Where's the Jamal come from?
No idea. My godmother named me, so I don't really know where the middle name came from.
So it doesn't have any particular significance?
I think it just went together with Drummond, so that's where it came from.
AJD?
Yeah.
It's got a little ring to it.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, it works. Also, I was looking at Basketball Reference, and it has your nickname as...
It's the Big Penguin.
Now,
I'm not sure where that came from. I know my rookie year, when I was asked what my favorite animal was, I said it was a penguin. Yeah. And then I guess the nickname just came to life from there.
Okay. Why penguins as your favorite animal?
I don't know. It was one of my favorite animals. Lions are my top animal, but penguins are one of my animals. I named it being funny, not thinking it would have blew up like that. So I guess I'm the Big Penguin.
Are there any other nicknames? Do you have any other ones?
A lot of my teammates call me different things. My friends call me different things. Langston calls me the Big Aristotle.
Okay.
One of my best friends, Jason, calls me Thor.
Okay.
Our strength trainer calls me the Big Bear. So I got a couple different names.
Is there one that you particularly like, and is there one that you particularly don't like?
I don't really mind any of them. I think they're all pretty good nicknames. So I think they're cool.
All right. Well, we'll have to update Basketball Reference.
Yeah, you have to change that up a little bit.
The Big Penguin's not.
We're not cutting it.
It's not working for me. You also, congratulations, first guy ever in NBA history to 4 years straight, 1,000 points, 1,000 rebounds, 100 steals, 100 blocks. First ever is always something special. But what does that mean to you that you stand with that?
I think just consistency. Just being consistent with my game and the way I'm playing. Obviously, on the defensive end, the rebounding and the block shots is huge for me. And offensively, I'm scoring at an efficient rate, so it's a pretty cool accomplishment to have.
You are listed as 6'11". Are you really 6'11"?
No.
Okay. You got to be 7 feet, right? You're a footer.
No.
You're not.
Shorter.
Really? Wow. Because there's so many guys that I know who would have themselves listed like Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant's got to be 7 feet.
He's like 7'1". Easily.
Yeah. Right.
Like he towers over me. It doesn't make any sense.
But KG was the same way. He didn't want to be 7 feet. He always had himself listed as 6'11". Because there was something about being a 7-footer and the game that you had to play as a 7-footer.
Yeah.
But that's not a factor for you.
No, I'm all over the place.
Yeah. Your game, I see you shooting a 3 every now and then. What's it like for you to have the game that you have and to see the game kind of shifting the way it is, where you're having to adapt to a totally different type of game and style?
Younger, when I was younger as a kid playing, I was out in the perimeter more. My game kind of changed when I went to college.
By the way, Andre Drummond is 25, so younger is...
Younger, we get the picture.
It's relative.
Not that long ago. But when I got to college, when my game started changing, being into the low post and the block area and figuring out the game from there throughout my NBA career was really cool. So when I got to the point where I felt like I mastered it, the whole game changed into a perimeter game. So I was like, damn, now I have to adapt to this now. So I started working on my jump shot. Started working on my handle so I could bring the ball up the court and DHO the guys. And I think I'm doing a really good job of adjusting to the new style of play.
Yeah, for sure. You also, and maybe this is just from afar, you seem to be playing with more joy this year.
I'm having fun.
Yeah.
I'm having fun while I'm out there. Obviously winning is a key point to that. Other than that, I think just the role that I have on this team, it's a very enjoyable job for me. And just going out there each and every night knowing what I can do to affect the game is a fun feeling.
Yeah. What is it like playing with Blake Griffin versus playing against Blake Griffin?
Playing with Blake has been very, very fun for me. It made my job very easy. It takes off a lot of stress on me being, the best rebounder in the league, having 4 or 5 guys coming to block me out. Well, now you have to worry about somebody else that goes for offensive rebounds as well, too, and somebody who has the ball a lot as well, too. So their main focus is to watch him on the block. So when he shoots a shot, it gives me a chance to get good position and get a rebound. Playing against Blake was never fun. We always had the game plan for him to double team him, and I was the guy that had to double team him. Sometimes I was too late. Sometimes he just bullied right through. So he's a very, very good player, very smart player as well, too. So very happy to have him instead of playing against him.
Reggie Jackson was telling me that he was annoying to play against.
Very.
Because, well, you explain why he's so annoying.
Because he does everything.
Yeah.
So he's going to wear you out the entire game. So either he's going to take you off the break off a fast break and get you tired by running, or he's going to beat your body up in the paint where you're going to have to ask for help. You're going to have to ask for a double team. And then by then, he already has 20, 26 points already. And he's already in a good rhythm, so there's not much you really can do from there.
Yeah. He's also very physical,
Very.
And yet he's always talking to the refs about him getting beat up. And
Yeah.
Reggie was telling me that
He does, though.
when you play with him, you realize
see
how
it.
much he gets beat up.
Yeah.
But when you play against him, you're
You
like,
don't notice it.
come on,
like,
man.
you're fine. But like when you play against him and you see, like, oh, he's fine, man. There's nothing
Right.
wrong with him. But, like, seeing him on our side now and watching him play and seeing, like, the stuff people do to him, it's like, Jesus. Like, we used to beat this guy.
Yeah.
We used to beat this guy up all the time, and he still just trucks his way through. So it's a testament to his play and just how hard of a worker he is. So, what a great guy to play with.
How wild is it that you guys play 4-5 pick and roll?
It was like unheard of like 4 or 5 seasons ago to see that happen. So it's pretty cool to have that connection with him when I'm on the court. It's really not even a signal. It's kind of just a look. Like when I see that he needs a pick, I'll just run up and go set it for him. And more times than not, one or two things is going to happen. Either he's going to pass the ball to me or he's going to get fouled and score.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty efficient play because not too many 5s know how to guard pick and rolls, and not too many 4s know how to get over picks. So once I hit you, either you're going to die in the screen, or if you go under, he's shooting a layup.
Mm-hmm.
So.
There were a lot of questions about how he would adapt to being in Detroit after being in LA, the media attention, everything. I mean, the weather, name it, right? It's a pretty stark change, and it wasn't his choice. He was traded. What did you think when you first heard that he was coming here?
I didn't believe it. I thought it was like just like one of the rumors, because I think I might have been asleep when the trade happened, and I was like, yeah, Detroit gets Blake Griffin for Tobias and Boban Marjanovic. I said, what? So that doesn't even sound right. Like what? All the Clippers trade Blake for these two guys. I mean, obviously Boban and Tobias are one of my favorite guys that I've played with. And, they're having a hell of a career right now. Boban shooting 3. Shout out to Boban. But to have that caliber guy come to our team, it kind of just turned this whole team around.
Yeah.
He brought in a toughness that we were looking for, brought in leadership that we needed in addition to, with myself and Reggie, having another guy, being a leader. He's just been great. He adjusted very well the moment he got here. He figured everything out, and we're playing great together.
Were you watching him initially to see, like, does this guy want to be here? Or does this guy have to be here?
Watching him earlier on, it was more him figuring out what we all were like. So when he was playing, he wasn't trying to do too much. He was doing more of observing and just finding his way. And I feel like when he found his stride, we all adjusted to him after that.
Yeah. One of the other elements with your game, the free throw shooting, has risen. Shot 60% last year, which is practically double what you had previously. You're right around there this year. First of all, what was it that flipped the switch for you? If it was a switch being flipped, or was something else that, like, you became a different free throw shooter?
Man, it's really just finding one shot. I've been changing my shot my whole career. So instead of doing that, I went back to what I know. Met up with one of my earlier trainers from my career, and we found a shot that worked and shot it to death. Just kept shooting it over and over again till it became consistent. And now when I shoot the shot, it's not even a thought process anymore. It's more of just the mechanics, and just like we do in practice every day.
Yeah. So much of it is mental. I mean, I'm watching Russ Westbrook, who's always been a great free throw shooter, and they were telling me with Oklahoma City that just part of his routine was walking out to midcourt and coming back. Well, now they don't allow you to do that, and they hand you the ball. Yeah. And a lot of guys
don't like that.
People don't think about it, but it's a totally different kind of thing, right?
For sure.
And it's thrown some guys off. And so, other than the mechanics and the practice, what was it that got you? Because I was watching you. We're recording this after the beatdown of the Pistons on the Magic, and you were. It wasn't hesitancy. You were mad at yourself, or you were like, there was an expectation mentally for you. I'm supposed to be making free throws, and to me, that just felt like a totally different thing from 2 years ago, where I could see you go to the line, and it was like, I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, who knows? No, especially nights like last night. I knew what I did wrong, and it was more of me just not following my steps and rushing the shot. I missed the first one, so it was me getting myself out of my element. So when I did it 2 more times after that, I got mad at myself. Like, all right, next time you're up here, focus. Like, don't just shoot the basketball. So that's really what that was. And 2-3 years ago at the line, when I did get up there, I was like, well, I'm up here. Whatever happens, happens. I don't know what's gonna happen while I'm up here. Hopefully it's a good miss or it goes in. So it was one of those things for me, just to, whatever happens. So obviously now today, when I do miss, there's softer misses, and there are things I know I can correct when I do get back up there again.
Well, and it has to be a totally different feel in the game.
Absolutely. It keeps me going, because 2 years ago, me missing all those free throws, I was averaging almost 18 right now. I've been averaging like 14 right now. Those are like 3 or 4 more points that I'm making now that make a huge difference.
Yeah.
So,
Jamaican heritage.
Yes, sir.
Have you been?
Yeah, a couple times.
Okay.
A couple times.
And how much do you know about your Jamaican heritage? Like,
I know a little bit, know enough. Stuff that my mom tells me. Being back out there, meeting some of my relatives, just like what everybody has known of Jamaican people, just peaceful people, welcoming. My family is pretty cool, and they're very proud of me. Obviously, being a Jamaican, and everybody talking about me in the town. So
yeah,
it's really, really cool to be a known face out there whenever I go back.
Sure. You strike me as a very chill dude, and yet a near 7-foot black man can be a very imposing thing. What's it like for you, just when you're walking around, when you're being you, and you probably can feel like the way people respond to you, and it's not necessarily who you are.
Yeah, the way I move is I'm just I'm a chill guy. I don't really have much emotion moving around. I kind of just go about my day, and if I meet somebody, I put a smile on. But other than that, I just keep it to myself. Wherever I'm going, I'm just focused on getting there.
Yeah.
I don't really. I guess people say when I walk, I look intimidating. So I guess I have to fix that smile more.
There's always going to be a certain level of intimidation there, but I feel as if some of the big guys I know, Yao Ming, Shaq, you go down the line, right? They've had to deal with the same thing. And I wonder for you, like, you ever imagine, like, because being in the NBA and all that comes with it makes being a 7-footer or a near 7-footer a little bit easier.
Absolutely.
I wonder about the people that are
just big and don't play any sports.
Yeah, and don't have the resources.
I've seen a couple of them. I'm like, geez, you should be where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
But, obviously people's paths don't make it that way.
Yeah.
But, I always wonder what it was like for them to walk around and just be really tall and not play a sport.
Yeah.
I wonder if they make stories up saying they used to play and stuff like that.
Do you ever think about what you would be doing if you weren't playing basketball?
Yeah, I know what I would be doing. Very, very into the acting, being an actor. I'm very into it. So that's what I'm trying to do when I'm done playing. I'm into music, as everybody knows.
Right.
Other than that, I feel like I would have a plan B if I wasn't playing basketball.
Yeah. But so it would be something in the creative arts.
Absolutely.
Huh. What first sparked you to get into acting, or to? I assume you're taking acting lessons.
Yeah. For me, just I love the camera, so I love being in front of the camera, and I love movies. I love TV shows, and watching these different people and watching the transition from The Rock being a big WWE star to being a very household name in the acting world. Somebody who I look up to. Denzel Washington is my favorite actor. So watching those guys, it's like, I know I can do this. If they can do it, they put the work in. I feel like I could do the same thing.
Yeah. No Uncle Drew connect, or would you?
Yeah. Kyrie's one of my very close friends in the NBA, but he already had his cast set. He had his cast set already for that, so I didn't really bug him about it.
Yeah. Do you have any connections or plans, or you have anything that's kind of bubbling that you're working on?
Right now, I'm just more worried on perfecting it and getting a lot better at it.
Yep.
Once I do that, I'll start to step into doing different roles.
Got you. Looking at just whether it's Wikipedia or even the Pistons media guide, the personal section on Andre Drummond is very short. There's not a whole lot there. I mean, doesn't say anything about brothers or sisters, doesn't any of that. So fill me in a little bit. Or is there a reason for that?
Yeah, the reason is like this. I keep my stuff tight. I don't really give too much. I give what's supposed to be known. And if you find it out, you find it out. Other than that, I don't really say much about what's going on with me. It's more, you get to see me for what I do. I play basketball, and that's as far as I let people in turn, unless you watch my YouTube channel, then other than that, that's pretty much what you're going to find is not very much.
Yeah, yeah. The Special Olympics mean a lot to you. And we had still ongoing an issue with the defunding of our government defunding the Special Olympics. When you first heard that was planned, what was your thought or reaction?
Hearing that was definitely tough to take in. Well, these kids are strong, man. They don't allow that to, deter them or make them upset. They continue to fight, and they have fun with the sports they play. So seeing them just brings me joy, all the time, being around them. When I see them at games, it just lifts my spirits, because if they're going through all this and still have a smile on their face, there's no reason why I should be upset. So we'll figure out a way to get things back to where it's supposed to be in that aspect. But other than that, the kids are happy, they're staying positive, and they're working hard. So there's not much I can really speak on that point.
I think most people know, but for those who may not, why does Special Olympics mean so much to you?
It means a lot to me being a kid that was made fun of growing up, for being taller and having a learning disability earlier on. Obviously, I grew out of it, but having an issue with, reading and being in big classes and, learning at a slower rate growing up was something that was tough for me, because a lot of my friends and people that I went to school with would make fun of me, and I ended up being in one of the special ed classes, so I know what it's like to be in those classes. I know what it's like to ride a smaller bus. So being involved with this and being a global ambassador really hits home for me, because I found a way to get past all that and figure a way for me that works to learn different things at the same rate everybody else is. So I feel like for these kids is telling them and sharing my story with them that anything is possible, that they could do the same thing. Yeah.
I often think that maybe that sometimes the disconnect is we see kids with learning disabilities or handicaps, and we don't think that or realize that there's a real human being inside or behind those things. That it's somehow they're different than when it comes to emotions or feelings or observations, and it's really not true. And you probably know that better than anybody.
Sure.
What it's like to be trapped inside that.
Yeah, being a person that has that going on, the learning disability, or even if you're, disabled in a certain way, a lot of people do forget that we're still people at the end of the day. No matter what our circumstances, we're still a human being. We shouldn't be treated any differently than anybody else just because we have something going on that's a little bit different than normal. So, myself and all the people in the Special Olympics handle it very well. Again, very, very positive group of the people I've worked with. And again, it's a really good feeling knowing that they're doing great.
Yeah. Switching back to basketball before we wrap this up. So what are the goals? Whether it's free throw shooting, whether it's individual, whether it's team, and I don't even know if you've approached things this way, where you kind of set markers for yourself and say, this is the next thing that I want to accomplish.
Right now, my goal is obviously to get into the playoffs and make it out of the first round. And whatever happens from there happens, but my goal is to have a really successful playoff series this year. So that's my mark right now. Earlier in the year was to make the All-Star team, obviously, and that didn't happen. Blake Griffin made us, so shout out to him for that. But other than that, it's just to play really well, help my team get in the best situation to win, and win as much as possible.
Yeah. How much different does it feel with whatever the aspirations are here, with Blake here as part of your crew?
We all have the same common goal, which is to win as many games as possible. Now is the time. A lot of us are later in our career where we haven't won much, and a lot of guys have won championships. So I feel like it's our time now. Like myself, Reggie Jackson, Blake has made it to the playoffs but hasn't made it far enough. I've made it once and didn't get past the first round. So I feel like it's our time now to lead this team to where it needs to get to have a really successful playoff run.
There's a rich history with this franchise too. I wonder how much you guys, because when I see it, right, it's so rich, and you walk in, we're
feel it.
Yeah, you can feel it, right? And there has to be I would think a desire or a feel to want to get it back to that, right, and be part of that.
Everybody knows the story of the Pistons and the bad boy era, the 2004 team. Seeing those documentaries and being able to watch those games and see how hard those guys worked in the culture of Detroit and what they did for the city. It's kind of like a letdown when we don't have a successful year, because they're so used to, even when they don't win the championship, they have a great season. They make it really far in the playoffs, or they have a really, really good season. So for us to not make it for so many years, I know it's tough for the city to accept that, but I think we have found what we needed to bring that energy back to the city.
Last thing, I wonder, how much does your creativity and your wanting to do creative things have to do with coming up with a learning disability and being 7 feet tall and wanting to find a way to connect with people that maybe you previously hadn't, either because you learned how to connect with people in a different way, or you have that desire to do that, and that gives you an avenue to do that?
I think it did come from that, because when I was younger, I would find different ways to get my brain going. If I ever got stuck doing homework or something like that, so when it came to math, my mom would make me go outside and get rocks. When it came to counting, when it came to reading, I would literally highlight every line just so I could stay on track, because I would make up words as I go, because I couldn't focus on reading the lines straight. So I feel like that's where the creative mind of mine came and grew from, to make me want to start doing different things in terms of the music and whole acting aspect. I have fun with it, though. I have fun learning new things and finding new ways to help myself make life easier. And me being 7 foot is really, it's different. It's different for me, because not too many 7-footers are making music or trying to be an actor. So I try to separate myself from everybody else.
Do you like that? Do you like that you are such a unique? Because it can go both ways.
Absolutely.
People can kind of resent it, or
they can accept
they can accept it and embrace it.
Yeah. So I've found that the path that I've taken, a lot of people accept it. Especially with the music, I think I did it the right way. I started off DJing first, kind of like ease my way in, like, hey, I like to do music, but in the background, I'm really making music as I go. So later on, probably like 2 or 3 years ago, I started putting like little hints of things out, like little freestyles and stuff out, and I started getting back good reviews.
Through social media?
Yeah, through social media. So I started getting back good reviews. So then I died down for a little bit, went back to work again, so I started working on my album. So I put an album out on my birthday this past summer, and the results was crazy. Everybody loved it. I think I just eased my way into the whole music thing the right way. I took my time. I didn't just say, here's music.
Right.
I kind of gave different pieces and hints of like, okay, he likes music, he does this, that, and the third. So,
how much of that was like, well, I think it's good, but is anybody else going to think it's good? Where you kind of want to get that test, right?
Which is why I took it so slow. Like the stuff I did put out, I was like, all right, let's see how this is doing. So I'll see, okay, people like this. I'll see some people like, this could be a little better. It's like, cool, I know I need to work on now. So the different things I put out earlier on, it was more of a test to see what my crowd liked.
Yeah.
So once I figured that out and I put my album out, my album was incredible for everybody. They loved it.
Yeah. And it's FYI?
Yes, sir.
Yes. And they can get it where?
Everywhere.
Okay. iTunes, you name it.
Everywhere.
Check it out or follow you on, what's the handle?
At Andre Drummond on Instagram with 2 Ds.
Very simple. Andre, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thanks for having me.
Great having you. So that does it for another episode of Bucher and Friends. In our next podcast, I will be with Ryan Hollins, literally with Ryan Hollins, in LA. We will talk about Russell Westbrook's historic 2020 in honor of the late Nipsey Hussle, as well as changes made with the Wizards and LeBron sitting out international competition, but saying he's going to be back for the 2020 Olympics. All that and more in the next podcast. In the meantime, thanks for listening.